Minutes now. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to Wellside Women. I'm going to change the view. There we go.
Oh, I'm in the middle, though. I feel like I need to leave and come back.
Oh, that's great. You're great.
You're the centerpiece tonight, Stephanie.
Welcome. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome to Wellside Woman. We're super excited. We are continuing our series on finding the one, which is applying the Bible to 21st century dating. And tonight we are studying the book of Ruth. Very, very excited about this. Does anyone want to lead us in prayer?
I'll lead tonight.
Okay.
I'll start us off. Lord, thank you so much for gathering us today together to glean from your word, Lord. And we just pray, God, that you would that you'd make this word very clear to the listener to help them to apply all the lessons that you've given us through the book of Ruth. And what does it mean to find the one that's from your heart? In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Yay. All right. So as I said, we're going to be studying Ruth. And I think we should just get right into it. There's a lot. We're going to study the entire book tonight. So first, let's read Ruth 1. And in Ruth 1, what we're focusing on is obviously Ruth and Naomi's background. And most importantly, why your choices matter. I think that's the biggest takeaway, one of the biggest takeaways from Ruth 1. So I do not have my Bible ready. So would someone like to read Ruth while I find Ruth?
I'll read it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Do you have a preferred version? I've got NIV open right now. Is that good with everybody?
I love the NIV.
Okay. Yeah, I can switch it easy because I'm on Bible.com. But here we go. All right. In the days, how much should I read? Do you want to cut me off when you're?
Honestly, it's not really long. I think that Angela, are you okay with reading all of Ruth?
Yeah.
Or do you have a preference?
At least I think we should at least read chapter 1. And
I'll pause at the first.
No, I'm sorry. Let me make that clear. Yeah, let's break up each chapter and then devote time to talk about each chapter. So if you don't mind, would you mind reading all of Ruth right now?
All of Ruth.
I'm sorry. Ruth 1.
Ruth 1. I got it. Okay. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, and his wife's name was Naomi. And the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were Ephrathites, from Bethlehem, Judah. And they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. They married Moabite women, one named Orpah and one named Ruth. After they had lived there for about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. When Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, she and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home there. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. When Naomi saw her 2 daughters-in-law, then Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show you kindness, as you have shown kindness to your dead husbands and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in your home of another husband." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons? Who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me. Even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has turned against me. At this, they wept aloud again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging. So the two women went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them, and the women exclaimed, can this be Naomi? Don't call me Naomi, she told them. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning.
Wow. There's so much to unpack in that, including, I'd just like to take a moment here to represent the worship of this song. Where you go, I go. Where you go, I stand. I will follow. Ooh. Okay, I'm done. That's a Chris Tomlin song for those of you who don't know. Where you stay, I stay. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's called I Will Follow. There's so much to unpack with this scripture. And just as a disclaimer, because we try to give it every single episode, we are not biblical scholars. Anyone who's listening, we are just three women who love the Lord and love his word, and we want to share it with anyone who's watching. That is it. That's our disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of studying about this. Well, not as much as I wanted to, but I did a good chunk this week. And one of the things that a pastor pointed out, I think it was Greg Rochelle from Life Church, pointed out that that Ruth, first of all, was probably young when she got married. That was like the culture of the day, you know, like, let's be realistic. She was probably 15, 16 years old when she got married. So when she's a widow, like, we can just speculate. She was probably still a late teenager, early 20s. Like, we don't really know for sure. It doesn't say, but she was probably still young enough to the point where Naomi's like, go and remarry, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't go with like the flow of her friends right off the bat. Like, I can't imagine myself, if I'm really honest with myself, being maybe, let's just say 18. Like, you're 18 and your homegirl is also 18, and your mother-in-law is like, go find good men for yourselves in your hometown. And I'm like, no, mother-in-law, I shall stay with you and go into a foreign land. Like, I don't think I would actually do that, if I'm being honest.
I agree. And she also didn't have children. So I could see if she had children and she wanted to keep her family together. But she was, like you said, she was still very young. And I mean, she didn't have anything really tying her down. And she definitely could have gone off and, you know, lived her life and gone back to her people or gone wherever. And the choice, I mean, I can't either. I think it's really beautiful choosing to stay with Naomi. It's like I have so many questions. Did she feel sorry for Naomi? Did she feel, I mean, we know that obviously we would use the words like loyalty and devotion, but it has to have been something deeper. And I think that Ruth was she was just an amazing woman of character. She just, you know, I think that what a wonderful woman that she, in her heart, she was like, I'm not going to leave my widowed mother-in-law to go off by herself.
Right.
It strikes me too, like how tight how affectionately they talk to each other. Like, my daughter, you know, it's your sister. They're like, Naomi has clearly enveloped Ruth as a daughter and treated her with respect and kindness. to the point that her daughter feels so tied to her.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty and just doing the right thing. Like, I mean, it doesn't even matter the fact that she came from a completely different culture, worshipped a completely different God. She just knew, like, I cannot leave my mother-in-law to go back to a land where there was a complete famine. Like, Ruth and Naomi have no idea what she's going back to, what Bethlehem, if there's even people living in Bethlehem. Like, they escaped there because of a famine. Like, you would
That
never.
is a really important point, Angela, that you just brought up. They literally just left there, right? Or they left there because of the famine. And
Right.
you're right. There is this uncertainty. There's no security for Ruth. It's not like she I mean, we know how it turns out, but it's not like she's like, "Oh, I know I'm going back." Naomi comes from a really wealthy family and we're going to be all set. There is no security. There is no guarantee.
Zero. They have no idea what they're going back to. I mean, they must have got word that it was habitable to in order to even go back in the first place. But still,
Yeah, I mean, it says that they received word that what the Lord had done there. So there was clearly word that there was stuff going on. But like he said, like, who's left? Who survived? You know, it's not like today where we have phones.
Right.
You know, like,
but
a huge uncertainty.
Yeah, and the husbands aren't there to work the fields anymore. There's like, and back then, anybody who who may be watching, like, being a widow back in this time was like basically a death sentence. Like, it was really, really hard for widows back if you weren't unmarried. Like, it was just really, really hard. It was necessity to get married, to survive. Like, that was a big culture thing back then.
You know, one other thing that really contrasts to today, again, back to that mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship, like nowadays it's almost a joke, like, oh, the mother-in-law, oh, you know, like,
terrible things, right?
Yeah, like people assume it's a bad relationship because
Yes,
it's so common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it just strikes me as so different than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, Shay mentioned a really good point too. She said, I feel like you're probably getting into this, but the name change seems significant. Naomi to Mara. Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that, Shay, because it's like we have the Bible tells us in other scriptures that the power of life and death is in the tongue, right? So she's going into this situation bitterly. Like, I feel bad for Ruth at this point. Like, not only are you going into a foreign land with like a woman who's extremely saddened by the loss of her two sons and husband, but now she's also bitter on top of it. Like, you're not going into a foreign land with a faith-filled, Holy Spirit-filled woman of God. Like, she is, but she's really bitter. But we'll see later that the Bible refers to her as Naomi again. So it's funny, like the author refers to her back as Naomi. So like the name change thing is really powerful. So she does become full of joy.
Yeah.
I go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that just shows how she's feeling.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. I think she's just like, hey, we have been through it. I have lost not only my husband, but both of my sons. I think, and now I have to return. I think it's very significant. And again, I really think it also shows what a massive sacrifice it was for Ruth. Again, I think the way I'd like to apply this to, the 21st century is that Ruth did not take the easy way out. We assume Ruth could have gone back to, her father's house. We assume, she could have gone back to her people. She could have gone with Orpah, but she chose the hard route and she went with her mother-in-law. Although, as you said, there was it was very affectionate. So if we're going to apply that to the 21st century, some things I wanted to think about are, when we think of the kind of woman we want to be to get our Boaz, who, it goes without saying, Boaz was wealthy. Boaz was a good man. He was a good, he's a very good man. We want to talk about our loyalty and our character and our courage, because it took a lot of courage for Ruth as well. So some things I had put as far as applying this to the 21st century are, how to recognize if you're a woman who follows purpose, not convenience. And really, I just want to ask the question to young women out there, do the choices you make in relationships, do they align with the person you want to become? And I would have to look at myself when I was young. And I think that when I think about the choices I made in the relationships when I was young, they definitely did not align with the person I wanted to become. When I had these ideas of who I wanted to be and the kind of woman I wanted to be, I think in my youth, I chose relationships that definitely were not going to, I don't want to say benefit me in the future, but were definitely not conducive to the kind of woman I wanted to really be.
True. Yeah.
And again, like Ruth ended up being the great grandmother of David. So, I mean, that's pretty significant.
I think that those choices too, that you're talking about, like, these are pre-man, right? This is pre-spouse, pre-dating. Like she decided to walk with integrity way before there was anybody in the picture. And I think that that's like similar to what we saw when we were breaking down Adam and Eve. Like Adam was like willingly ready to work and like just chilling with God, had his like relationship
tending to his garden,
not even trying to look for someone else or something else to fulfill him. He was like satisfied in himself with God. And that was when God himself was like, no, you actually do need somebody. And I feel like Ruth is, we see that as well with her. Like she's established herself with moral integrity first and has solidified her, and has also solidified her change of her faith walk. Like let's not forget that. That's like, this is like the biggest scripture of the book of Ruth that you hear people quoting, where you go, I will go, where your God will be my God. Your God will be my God. That's a faith shift. Like, wow. I mean, something inside of her must have happened for her to understand that the God of Israel is like the one true God. And like, of course, as you guys know, like only God can give you that revelation. Like we can tell it to you until we're blue in the face about our testimony, and we will, but God has to open your eyes to that. But that's my take on it, at least.
I love the next verse, which is, where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death departs me from you.
That's awesome.
It is. We don't get to see that, but as you said, Angela, we don't get to see that shift, but it had to have been, it could have only been God moving in her.
Yeah. It's funny because the book of Ruth too, it's like we don't actually, it's one of the books that like doesn't really talk about God at all. It doesn't. This is the lineage of Jesus Christ, and it's the story of faith and obedience and trust. But we don't see anybody, no one's praying, no one's like,
right, no prophet coming.
I love it. I love it.
People,
there's that faith.
Right? It's just people being people, doing their thing. And
people being what kind of people though, right? People being well, no, but people being faithful, people being loyal, people living in faith. Those are the kind of people that people who are doing the right thing.
Yes.
I was gonna say honorable people. Like there's a
honorable
lot of
people
here. Yeah.
So I was thinking of the whole fact that they went to Moab. Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you. I forget their names, the father, but whatever.
Elimelech.
I
mean, another example of how God takes something and turns it good, right?
Amen. And that is the big picture, because to those of you who don't know, like the Moabites are literally child sacrificers. They worship this god named Chemosh, and like that's like how you worship him. You sacrifice children. And this is one of the reasons why like we hear in the Bible, like God wanted nothing to do with the Moabites at all. He wanted Israel to just like be done with them, don't have anything to do with their gods whatsoever. So the fact that they went there, in the first place. It
I mean,
just shows
even marry their women. They're not supposed to
and
marry.
marry their woman, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of like the flaws in the Bible and like the little flaws that we see in the book of Ruth. There's not many, but it just reminds me of how like God makes sure that humanity is very, very clearly outlined in the Word of God. I think it shows the validity of the scriptures.
Mhm.
You know, to see like, hey, this isn't a book of perfection. It's a
No.
book of broken people with a perfect God.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it accessible, viable.
Right.
It makes it accessible to everyone.
Right.
Because these people are, you know, they got some flaws.
Right. Relatable. Like
Relatable, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else we want to add from chapter 1? Any other thoughts? Any other commentary?
I think we can keep going because if something pops up, we can always.
Exact. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good too.
So we're going to read chapter 2. And in chapter 2, we see how Ruth went right to work. She did not wait around, and we're going to find out how or why or what it was that made Boaz notice Ruth. Does anyone want to read chapter 2? Or do you want me? I haven't. The Bible I have in front of me is ESV, and I know you both have NIV. So
that's okay. I can just like click a button. So
well, I'm using my physical Bible instead of because I have no like tech skills and I can't figure out how to.
I have a frog in my throat, so if you guys mind reading today.
Okay.
I don't mind reading again either.
I have to say, I found your voice very soothing. I thought you did a really great job.
Thank you. I'm happy to read again.
Okay.
Ruth 2. Now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a man of standing from the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone in whose eyes I find favor." Naomi said to her, "Go ahead, my daughter." So she went out, entered a field, and began to glean behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. Just then, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the harvesters. "Lord be with you." "The Lord bless you," they answered. Boaz asked the overseer of his harvesters, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The overseer replied, "She is the Moabite who came back from Moab with Naomi," she said. "Please let me glean and gather among the sheaves behind the harvesters." She came into the field and has remained here from morning till now, except for a short rest in the shelter. So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me. Watch the field where the men are harvesting and follow along after the women. I have told the men not to lay a hand on you. And whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled." At this, she bowed down with her face to the ground. She asked him, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me, a foreigner?" Boaz replied, "I've been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wing you have come to take refuge. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord," she said. "You have put me at ease by speaking kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servants." At mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come over here, have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar." When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. She got up to glean. Boaz gave orders to his men, "Let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some stalks from her, for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up. And don't rebuke her." So Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to about an ephah. She carried it back to town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out and gave her what she had left over after she had eaten enough. Her mother-in-law asked her, Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you. Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about the one whose place she had been working. The name of the man I worked with today is Boaz, she said. The Lord bless him, Naomi said to her daughter-in-law. He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead. She added, that man is our close relative. He is one of our guardian redeemers. Then Ruth the Moabite said, he even said to me, stay with my workers until they finish harvesting all my grain. Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it will be good for you, my daughter, to go with the women who work for him, because in someone else's field you might be harmed. So Ruth stayed close to the women of Boaz to glean until the barley and wheat harvests were finished, and she lived with her mother-in-law.
Okay. There's so much. I highlighted some things. All right. So right off the bat, so I have to point out like the first verse of chapter 2 that the Bible tells us that we have a man of standing. Like he has a reputation, like his people are probably like thrilled to work for him. He's like first, and another thing too, not to jump around like a ping pong ball, but he's also eating with everybody at the end. Like he's eating with everyone. He's not like high and mighty and I'm gonna go and feast in my castle now while you workers, no, he's eating with everybody. That shows me a lot about his character. Like he's low to the ground. Like he's coming in on as a man of standing, but then he's like, he's hanging out with them and he's telling them like make sure she has everything she needs. There's just so much. And then also like obviously there's the rumors are flying about Ruth. Like everybody knows her reputation. She has
She's a Moabite. What is she doing there? Oh my
but she has a good reputation at this point. That should say something to
Well,
our young women.
the first thing that I know that's great. Boaz is great. He's worthy. We imagine he's successful and wealthy. He's well known. He's respectable. He's a good man. But my first thing is Naomi. They get there. They get to there, and they get to Bethlehem, and automatic. They're like, all right, let's go. Let's go to work. We're going. I've got to work. She is not. She is taking care of her mother-in-law.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to take care of you. Let me go work. She didn't say, hey, come work with me, or what are we going to do? She immediately is like, listen, I'm going to go get us some food. I'm going to go hang around and glean. And I think, just as just for a reference. So what is it? So after they harvest, poor people, or I don't know how to call them, people like
it's the first welfare system. Like literally.
Boom, I love it.
Really like
it is. It's commanded.
It's where we get welfare from is the book of Leviticus. Am I right about that stuff?
I think it is, yeah. It's one of the laws that's like described.
You have to give the poor people, the ability to feed themselves. And
you're supposed to leave stuff behind. Like it's actually considered not good to harvest everything.
Right.
I love it. I love it. So she's out there and she's gleaning and she's providing. She's working hard. She's working very hard. And because of this, like you said, she's getting a reputation. Who is this woman?
Yeah. And I just want to say, because Pastor Greg Rochelle's take on this was great. I think it's something about dating as well. Definitely go. If I'll link it below later on. If you guys check it out tomorrow, check out the link tomorrow. But Ruth could have very easily gone into prostitution because that's what they did back then. Especially if you were a widow and you were young, like the go-to solution to provide for yourself as a woman in this day was literally to sell your body. Like that's just what they did. So the fact that she took the harder route and she went the lowest possible route that you can go to provide for yourself, and to provide for those around you. I think that this also speaks to just so many other situations. If you're in a rough spot, get a job at McDonald's. They're always hiring. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do to make ends meet. And God will honor that humility. He will. I think that applies to men too. If you want to be a man of good character and have God provide a wife for you someday, like do whatever you can to help yourself and to help your family, and God will honor it. He will.
Amen. Yeah. Well, again, to keep going with that. So, like you said, she could have gone into prostitution, but she didn't. And she placed herself where there were honorable men. She's setting herself up for, and we don't know if this was consciously, but this was God driven. We know that she's setting herself up for this next phase of her life by not going into a, I mean, again, I'm just trying to like put this into the 21st century, by not going into a reckless environment. Instead, she is going where there are honorable men. She is going where, she's going where there's honorable men instead of taking that reckless, easy way out. She's doing the hard work and putting herself in a potential position to find a good husband. And I think that it's important what you said, or I don't know, what's the name of the pastor? It's important what he said, because, if she had gone into prostitution, which was the easy thing, right? That would not have set her up for a new husband.
Right. I think it's interesting too. I'm just catching this on, is that when Ruth mentions the fields in the beginning, she actually kind of asks permission a little bit. At least in my translation, she says, "Let me go." But she probably wouldn't if Naomi was like, "No, my daughter, stay behind and let's mourn together." I don't know. It seems to be like she's requesting to go. Like she's seeking Naomi's guidance and permission. So that also shows me that she's continuing to honor now her mother. She keeps that honorable commitment, command. I don't know. I just can't even stress that. Our parents love us so much and they will never stop loving us. And if you're young and you're looking for love, seek the guidance of those who are older and wiser counsel to guide you in your life path.
Amen.
Listen to those who are your elders in your life. They will not steer you in a wrong direction. Usually.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, usually we hope. So we have that Boaz notices Ruth in all of her work, and I wanted to put that men of character notice woman of character. And I can't, again, in the 21st century, I don't suspect that any women out there are going into prostitution when times get tough. However, there are other things that young women do that are not really character building or the best choices or options. And I cannot stress enough, Boaz noticed her. He is a man of character because she was a woman of character.
Yeah. Right? And you know what? Maybe they're not really going into prostitution, but they're sleeping around. Girls are sleeping around thinking that maybe this is what I'm supposed to do to find the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to share with you guys a quote. Chris and I, we're big on the memes. We love the memes, and we love the memes. And he found this. Gosh, I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but it was a serious one, and it was about how when you sleep around, and young women, young men who are unmarried, please listen to this one. When you sleep around with someone, you are sleeping with someone else's future wife, with someone else's future husband. You are soiling someone else's spouse. If you're not sleeping with them to marry them and to be wedded to them, you are defaming someone else's spouse. And that, I don't know, that just really hit us really hard. Wow. You would never do that on the surface, knowingly, willingly. But yet when you sleep around before you're married, that's what you're doing. You're making that person even more impure. You're just another number on their list, and you don't even intend to marry them. Stop it. Just stop it.
Wow. Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff right there. Oh.
That's good. I'll have to find that meme.
So being productive to apply this to the 21st century and dating, how we want to talk about how Ruth being productive and purpose driven attracted a healthy partner. And we had previously talked about tending to your own garden. And one word they use, I love that word glean. They use, and I know that's like an actual, I think it's an actual farming term, but I love that. Gleaning, going and gleaning. And, I take that as, doing the hard work, scraping the bottom in order to get something better. So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, if I don't know if Shay's on, I can't,
She's
thinking about
listening.
one area of your life where you need to glean, in career, your health, your faith, your finances. And then I also wanted to talk more about Boaz, because we've been talking a lot about Ruth and the hard work that she put in and how she didn't take the easy route, and how she was, a woman of character who attracted a woman of character. But let's talk more about what happened when Boaz noticed her and how Boaz took care of her. And I love this because when we apply it to the 21st century, we're talking about how a man will show interest in you. And how we want a man to show interest in us. So let's see. I'm just going to reread this. And I do have, ESV. Then Boaz said to Ruth, this is after he had asked about her. Now listen, my daughter, do not go glean in another field or leave this one, but keep close to my young woman. Let your eyes be on the field that they are reaping and go after them. Have I not charged the young men not to touch you? And when you are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink what the young men have drawn. So Boaz is protecting her. He's respecting her. He's not treating her like an outsider or, a Moabite. He's treating her with respect. He's providing for her. He's offering her protection. So the things that he does, and we could keep going. He told his men not to touch her. He lets her know, hey, my men are not to touch you. They are not to bother you. You're allowed to stay here as long as you want. When you're thirsty, go out. They will provide drinks for you. And I think that this is how, if we're applying it to the 21st century, this is how Boaz is letting her know, hey, I'm interested in you. And
Right.
we'll find out more about this later on in the next chapter. But he's very much, this is Boaz's way of flirting. He's like, hey, this is how I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to provide for you, and I'm going to protect you. And he's very consistent. And I think when we look at, the opposite of that, what we see a lot in dating are, the opposite of that would be inconsistency, mixed signals, disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to think about our guys. We want the guys who are more like Boaz.
Right. Also, I can't help but look at her reaction. Her reaction to all that is that she bows her head and she's like grateful. Like, what have I done that you take notice of me? Like, instead of like, I'm sorry, I just imagine, that's why I'm kind of smiling over here, because I just imagine like some naive, dumb young girl being like, don't tell me what to do. I'm sorry. Like, I just think of like today's like woman who doesn't want, like, ladies, you want a man to be like that. Like, this is what you actually do want in a man. You want a man to be like, let me take care of you. I guess I'm just preaching to myself, because when I was younger, I was just like, I can do it myself. I can take care of myself. I don't need you. Like, that was my attitude. I was so I'm sorry, Kelly Clarkson ruined it for all of us. She shouldn't have sung about Miss Independent. All right. Because that screwed me up. And I think that, but unfortunately, I think that today's woman still lives in that, like, I don't need a man. Like, I can do it all myself. No, you can't.
Well, that's what they're told.
Stop.
In every single aspect
right
of their lives.
But it's a lie. It's straight up, it's a lie from the devil. We were made to be in community with each other.
Yes, but let's make it clear. It's a lie, but it's not. It doesn't mean that you are incompetent. It does not
Correct.
mean that you are less than. It does not mean that you're not capable. What it means is that the way that God designed it is for you to have a partner. It's for you to have, a partner. Yes.
Right.
And
Together.
I just want to say though, for all the single ladies out there, not every woman finds a partner. And I know a lot of people who live their whole lives looking in a righteous manner, and that God just never presents that person to them. And that doesn't, I can't say that they're to blame for that. Like, I think that it comes down to the heart of, like, you can be independent, and you can notice when somebody's being kind and not take offense to it.
Right.
And let people be kind.
Right.
And be grateful when they are kind.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned like some of those who are watching who may not be destined to have a partner, because that's even something that Paul encourages, like,
right.
But like another analogy of the book of Ruth, not to like go down a rabbit trail, but a lot of scholars have likened this book to our relationship with Jesus Christ, like that Christ is the kinsman redeemer. He is Boaz. We are Ruth. And that like we actually, like, he comes to literally rescue us and to redeem us, right? And he goes out of his way to make sure that we are provided for, to make sure that we become his bride. And I think sometimes like that's obviously it's way more important than finding physical love here upon the earth. Like that relationship supersedes everything. We're not even going to have marital relationships in heaven at all. So it's it can be looked at practically for a book of dating, but it can also be looked at like this is a story. This is like a little Christophany that we see, or Jesus in the Old Testament.
That's beautiful.
It's cool. I love what you said. I'm sorry, I have to just point out what you said, that how Ruth positions herself where honorable men are and not in reckless environments. Like, I cannot stress that enough. That's such a good point. If you want a man who's like of good standing, who's Christ-like, who's righteous, like you got to put yourself in a place that's not a reckless environment. That's an honorable environment. Like go to school, take a class, do like, I don't know, go join a chess club, do something, go to church, join a youth group, join, I don't know, volunteer at the soup kitchen, like do something honorable if you want to find an honorable mate.
Yeah. And she's just, I also just wanted to point out one more thing. She's not being flashy, and she's not like, she could be like, oh, woe is me, can I come clean this? She's not trying to get attention. Yet with her good character and her hard work, she did gain the attention, but she's not out there. She's not out there, performing, trying to get male attention. So it is 8:44. Do we want to keep going?
Yes, but I just want to say to Shay, because she's been commenting and we can't see your comments, but we can see them on YouTube.
I'm sorry.
There's been a weird glitch, so we're not ignoring you, love. We love you very much. So we will, if you want to chime in with anything, please do it on YouTube. I can see your comments on YouTube. So
I'm sorry, Shay. Oh my gosh. I was wondering why she wasn't. I thought she was like, oh, I don't know why she's
mad
not.
at us.
She's mad at us or something.
Yeah, I was noticing that I think the Facebook feed cut out at like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure what to do about it, but hopefully it's just them, not us. But we are still, she said earlier, I texted her earlier, she said we glitched for a second, but then we were back on. But I guess the comments, she said she's not mad. Okay, good. Can I put your comment there? Okay, good. Yeah. We love you, girl. Shay, if you have anything to add too in the comments, we'd love to hear your perspective about what we've studied so far. So just keep that in mind I think we should continue. We have 15 more minutes. I think
Let's go. And I do love Boaz, by the way. I just saw that you said I love Boaz. I do love Boaz. I love I love the and again, this is someone who's, I won't say how old I am, but I am in my late 40s. I I love the thought of, I love the idea of Boaz, especially at, and thank God I have thank God I have a great partner and I have a great husband and a family. But as I'm at this age and I have a daughter who's of marrying age, I love the idea of a good man, not looking for anything, not, asking for something, but wanting to protect. That's what I got from this. He calls her daughter, which is weird because he ends up marrying her, but he calls her daughter, and he wants to, I just feel like he wants to protect her. He's like, who is this working woman? Let me protect her. Let me take care of her. No one's gonna touch her. Whatever you need, I got you.
Right.
And yes, I love the idea of Boaz. I hope my daughter, marries a Boaz. I hope both my daughters marry a Boaz. And it doesn't hurt that he is, he's well off. He's, and I don't mean well off like, super rich, but like he's able to provide for her, So let's go on to, this is a wild chapter. Let's go on to chapter 3 of Ruth. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I did. I wanted to talk about all of my talking points. Would you mind, Stephanie, reading chapter 3?
Hold on. This is what she has to say. I was saying Boaz is not being a creep. That's the difference between men, law, all such creeps. Yeah, he was being a gentleman. I think that's a really good point. Like, he was being a gentleman. He's like, here, take extra home. Make sure you and your mother-in-law are provided for. Like, don't go anywhere else because we will protect you. Like you said, Dion, like he was all about protecting her and making sure that she felt safe. And I think that if you see that quality in a man, like, you should definitely like keep your eye on that one, because that's someone who has God's heart. He's not, like you said, Shay, he's not trying to be a creepoid. He's trying to actually like care about you. And I think, I'm sorry, I have to just sidestep for a second because I've heard this story 3 billion times in my 46 years of life, that the person who they sometimes end up with is just a friend in the beginning, and they didn't even have attraction for them. They weren't even, he was just like the nice friend that was always there for them, but it wasn't really that attractive. And then because of the character of that man, God did something and revealed, like, all of a sudden they got struck with Cupid's arrow. It's not just my story. Like, it's so
my
many
story.
It's your story. It's so many people's stories where you don't know. God, like, could have your future husband could be right under your nose and just being your buddy. He could just be that really sweet guy you sit next to in English class who's super nice, right? And makes you laugh, but maybe isn't like the hot jockey or whatever. So you just never know. Am I like dating myself by saying jockey?
Jockey.
You are actually.
Yeah.
I'm a 90s kid.
Oh my gosh. Keith was making fun of me so bad after last week. He was like, what were you? He's like, stop using that language. He's like, you're embarrassing yourself. He said, somebody said dope. He's like, please don't do that.
It's my 90s movie, Shay. We love you. Okay, let's read. I like chapter 3 actually, because there's a lot of weird stuff that happens, but there's a lot of obedience that happens, and I think that's a big takeaway in this chapter.
Yeah. All right, so chapter 3. One day, Ruth's mother-in-law Naomi said to her, "My daughter, I must find a home for you, where you will be well provided for. Now Boaz, with whose women you have worked, is a relative of ours. Tonight he will be winnowing barley on the threshing floor. Wash, put on perfume, get dressed in your best clothes, then go down to the threshing floor. But don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lay down. He will tell you what to do." "I will do whatever you say," Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. When Boaz had finished eating and drinking and was in good spirits, he went over to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your servant Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family." "The Lord bless you, my daughter," he replied. "This kindness is greater than that which you showed earlier. You have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. I will do for you all you ask. All the people of my town know that you are a woman of noble character. Although it is true that I am a guardian redeemer of our family, there is another who is more closely related than I. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to do his duty as your guardian redeemer, good, let him redeem you. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will do it. Lie here until morning." So she lay at his feet until morning, but got up before anyone could be recognized. And he said, "No one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor." He also said, "Bring me the shawl you are wearing and hold it out." When she did so, he poured into it 6 measures of barley and placed the bundle on her. Then he went back to the town. When Ruth came to her mother-in-law Naomi and asked, "How did it go, my daughter?" Then she told her everything Boaz had done for her and added, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, saying, 'Don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Then Naomi said, "Wait, my daughter, until you find out what happens, for the man will not rest until the matter is settled today."
Meh. All right, so right off the bat, just because I want to be respectful of time, but I definitely think we should try to finish if we can because we're so close to the end. Um, so right off the bat, Naomi's smart. She knows that she has to teach Ruth to go and then wait. And then, again, this was Pastor Greg Rochelle's point from Life Church. Like us women need to practice like being assertive, but then waiting. Like she goes and she does what Naomi tells her to do about laying at his feet and uncovering his feet. And that basically in that day was basically saying like, "Hey, I'm yours if you want me. Like I will be your girl," basically. But then she says, "But then you have to let Boaz lead, do what he says, like he will tell you what to do." And I think that that's a big part of like we have to let people know we're interested, but then let them lead, right? And I think that that's kind of how it goes in marriage as well. Like we have to like help our men, we have to like initiate, be assertive in certain areas, but then we have to give them leadership positions as well. And it's just like this constant like ebb and flow of um like going and waiting, going and waiting. So I love how
I
he
mean,
pointed that
I
out.
feel like you probably did that with Chris. Once you realized that he was the one, you know, I feel like you had to be like, "Hey, by the way, this is happening between you and I. This is going to happen." And I know that I did that with Keith once I realized I was like, "All right, this is what's going to happen. Like like this is definitely happening. We're
Yeah.
definitely um I I love that. I love that you said that. And that it's just so important to make it clear. She was assertive, right? Um she was strategic, and she wasn't passive. She made it, she went after her man. She was like, "Hey, I'm interested," but she didn't throw herself at him, and she
Right.
didn't chase him. And she was like, "The ball's in your court." You know what I mean?
And
Like,
she didn't sleep with him. I mean, she did sleep with it, but she didn't sleep with him.
she laid next to him,
Yeah. She
but
was
she also
like,
was so like,
yeah.
she thought of everything. She also was like, "I'm not going to wake up in the morning and be here with, like, I'm going to leave before anybody wakes up so no one sees us and assumes anything. I don't want to taint this in any way. I just
Mm-hmm.
want you to know that I'm interested. If you're interested, the ball's in your court. Make it happen."
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's just, she acted with integrity. She was, you know, she went after him. She took the initiative, but she acted with integrity.
Right.
And the other, I mean, I don't know, Angela, I don't want to cut you off if you have anything else, if to keep going with your commentary.
The only other thing I was going to say is that we see glimpses of Proverbs 31 when Boaz is like,
wow.
all the people in my town know that you're a woman of noble character. So I think
wow.
when we get to that, we should maybe revisit didn't want to say anything. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, she's trying to keep it pure. And just Chris and I did that too with when we had Judah. We really wanted to get married to have our son in marriage and not like I don't know, not to say that children out of wedlock or whatever. Like I have a son out of wedlock. It's a beautiful thing, but like having things pure and done the right way is a beautiful thing. And like trying to keep it as pure as possible is such a beautiful. God will honor that purity. He will. It's a precious thing.
The other thing that I think is really important, which is why, and it's why we're doing this, is Ruth. Would Ruth have gone after Boaz were it not for Naomi? And I think it's so important. And you mentioned this a few minutes ago. Naomi's mentorship. Women need guidance. We need guidance. We need to lift up our younger women. We need to educate them. We need to support them, and in a correct way. And I know I've said this before, but I got a lot of terrible advice when I was young, like horrible dating advice. And everything happens for a reason, but I always wonder, like, I wonder what my life would have been like if someone had said to me, hey, oh, that's very sweet. Oh no, my baby's crying. If someone, when I was, I just think about these things a lot. And I think that what's just as important is Naomi's role in this. Is Naomi telling her guiding her through this, navigating her through this, because Boaz says, he's like, oh, you're interested in me? Like, you're young, not some young guy.
Right.
We don't know if Boaz would have taken the initiative because he was respectful. We know that. And also, tell me to be quiet. And also, he may have thought that she wouldn't be interested. So I think it's so incredibly important that night that we have these, that when we are good mentors to younger women. Sorry, I've been going on and on. Somebody else.
No, it's true. I mean, even those two are watching, even you, Shay, like you're a mentor to someone younger than you. Like that's just how it goes.
Your younger cousins, yes.
Yeah, I mean, anyone, like your students. I mean,
Your students.
all these young people may not feel like it because you're still young yourself, but they are watching, they are learning, they are listening. So any guidance that we can give them in any life direction that we think is good and godly, put them in that direction. And it's up to them to fulfill that or not. Ruth could have been like, I ain't going to that place. Like, like
she was obedient. You said this earlier. She was obedient.
She did exactly, not just like she did exactly what Naomi said.
Yes.
And did it like, and also like, you have to remember too, she's a Moabite. She doesn't know anything about Israeli dating culture, like customs. She doesn't know any of this. So this is like all probably completely foreign practices to her, like I'll uncover his feet, like lay at it. What? That's so
or
weird.
Even the fact that she had a redeemer, like somebody who was like in the Bible, it was like actually planned out. What do we do with our widows? There are these family members that should take them in. And that would have been completely foreign to a foreigner, that there's somebody actually that God has already kind of lined up within his law.
Destined for you. I love it.
Some other things I wanted to really point out, which I know we already talked on, but this scene is not a sexual scene.
It's not.
She goes in and uncovers his feet. Yes, she lays down next to him and asks her to cover him. It is a symbolic and respectful scene. It's very
intimate.
And it is intimate, isn't it?
Intimate.
It's so intimate. It is I feel like I'm looking into the start of something very beautiful, a very intimate scene. You're right. But she also is she doesn't come at him. It doesn't say that. And there are other instances in the Bible where women have seduced men, but she doesn't seduce him. She, however, very clearly communicates, hey, I'm available for a covenant relationship. And she doesn't manipulate him. She doesn't pressure him. She just very clearly makes her intentions known. And I think, this is something that young women should not be afraid to do. When you find a good man, and that's very sweet, Shay. I just saw what you wrote. You should not be afraid to make your intentions clear.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love how, I don't know, just like this, like she met him after a long, hard day of work. Like what a prize from a man's perspective. Like you just worked so hard all day long, and now here comes this beautiful young woman to be like, hey, I am interested in you. I think that's it's very bold of Ruth to do, but it's also like men who might be watching, like work really hard, show integrity, and you'd be surprised. A nice, pretty young lady might take notice of you. Just saying, I'm a mom of boys over here, so I'm looking out for my boys. Why don't we finish off Ruth chapter 4, if that's okay with you guys? Might go over just a little bit. Is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
It's okay. My other thought is if we could finish 4 and then go into Proverbs 31 next week.
That would be great. Okay.
Since they do kind of go.
Can I just say three more things about chapter 3?
Sure.
Is that to the young women out there and young men, if there's any young men, express what you want in a relationship without sounding desperate. The key takeaways from chapter 3 are clear communication versus emotional pursuit. Thinking about how honesty, really being upfront, saves you time and protects your heart. I know specifically, I'm not going to call anyone out, but I know that there are women who have been in situations where a guy is like, well, this is how I feel. And they go along with it, even though they really don't feel that way. When a guy's like, I'm not really looking for anything serious. And they go along with it and they're like, well, maybe he'll change, even though it's not what they want. They want something serious, but they go along with these things. So I think being honest, having excellent communication, seeking a Boaz, and really just woman mentoring other women. And like you said, we all are mentoring someone, whether we see it or not. And how Ruth's obedience, instead of like, I know what I'm doing, or I'm not going to go do that, eventually led to Boaz. All right. And now we can move on. I just wanted to point those things out.
I love it. All good stuff. Take notes, guys. Good stuff. This is God's word to us. It's beautiful. It's so precious. Mm-hmm. It's sweeter than honey. It's better than any. Well, when we get to Proverbs, we can dip into what the word says about wisdom too. She was more precious than rubies. Listen to her. Okay. Chapter 4. Should we get into it?
Let's go.
All right. I'll read it. I feel like my frog in my throat's gone. Boaz marries Ruth. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he went over and sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here," and they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to her relative Elimelech. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here, in the presence of the elders of my people. If you redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right to it except for you, and I am next in line." "I will redeem it," he said. Then Boaz said, "On the day that you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property." At this, the guardian redeemer said, "Then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate." Remember, she's a Moabite, guys. "You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it." Now, in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and transfer of the property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. I think they must have all had mismatched shoes back then.
I was going to say, did they keep them? Like,
they all must have had, or they all had the same shoemaker. Anyways, so the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, "Buy it yourself," and he removed his sandal. That's okay. The Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, "Today you are witnesses that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Kilon, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you are witnesses." Then the elders and all the people of the gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord Make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, who Tamar bore to Judah. Naomi gains a son. So but the little thing says. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. When he made love to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The woman said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The woman living there said, "Naomi has a son." She's Naomi again. And then named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. The genealogy of David. This then is the family line of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Amminadab, Amminadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, Boaz the father of Obed, Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of David. I could cry. It's like such a sweet ending.
It really is.
Wait. Oh gosh, Shay, seriously. What a mismatch. She's listening. I'm hearing about this.
She always does this. She always is like, okay.
It's like a little God kiss, right? It's like a little God kiss. That happened to me earlier about something silly, like a song or something. Maybe that's just God giving you a little wink, letting you know you're aligned. All this goodness came from Ruth being a woman of noble character, doing the right thing, being obedient, listening to her mentor. Like, it's just standing out. Like, I really will find this sermon, because Craig Rochelle also mentions that if you want to have a relationship out of this world, then you also have to act out of this world.
I love it. I love, again, she didn't just get a husband, she didn't just get a husband. She could have went and got a husband anywhere. She literally, because of her character, she created a legacy. She got a legacy. She got the genealogy of David, descendant of Jesus Christ. I mean, that's pretty big. She didn't just get a husband. She got a lot more than a husband.
Yeah.
And you know what? She didn't settle. That's what I love most about it. She did not settle. She put in the hard work. She made her intentions incredibly clear, like crystal clear.
Yeah. Just goes to show you too what God can do, and with such a horrible situation where there's a famine, where there's death, where there's mourning, there's also new beginnings and new chapters that can be started, and like you said, a legacy that is way beyond anything we could ever ask for or imagine. Being the great 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 grandma of Jesus Christ, like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's you just brought up, like, there was so much sadness in the beginning of this, but it's such a hopeful book. It's a very hope-filled book. There's a lot of sadness, and God turns it around. Like Stephanie said, another example of God, taking the messy and making it beautiful.
Yep.
Yes, I love Shay put matching your feet. Oh, I love it. Okay, Shay, dropping some poetic gems.
She say, here, I'll show the folks at home. Your feet are what take you in your path. You have to find your matching shoe. And it's funny because, like, that all that mismatched likeness and the exchange of the shoe to get Ruth, like all this like mess that like we see in the beginning that we are just talking about, we do end up seeing how God does help us to find the right match at the end of the day. It's such a beautiful ending to a lovely story. It's one of those stories I kind of like when I die in in heaven, I'm going to ask the Lord, is there like a movie theater? Can we go watch Ruth's story? Like,
No.
I wanna-
Well, I mean, I'm sure that would be a better version, but I just saw, who has Ruth and Boaz? I haven't seen it. Somebody put
I
out
don't know.
a production it's like a TV teleseries. I don't know.
know.
I saw a like a, not a flyer. What's it called? I saw a
Preview?
advertisement for somebody put out Ruth and Boaz. I'm not sure.
I'd love to watch one.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Who, and I don't know if it's good. But this really brings us back to these values that we've been talking about the past three. This is our fourth, right? Or third?
Third.
The past three episodes, which are 1, tending to your garden, taking care of yourself and doing the things that you're supposed to do, putting in the hard work, and really not being afraid to make your intentions clear, and ask God for what you want. Do not be afraid to ask God for what you want. Along with that, you have to be looking for a partner who has the same values of you. You know, a healthy marriage is built on unity, values, mutual respect, not just attraction. The attraction does come. And how to, I guess one thing I would like to ask as we leave is, what kind of relationship are you preparing for? What are you preparing for? What kind of relationship are you preparing for?
Amen. Amen. Well, let's wrap it up. We've got littles to attend to. Thank you so much for watching. May you be blessed and highly favored by the Spirit of our living God. We will see you guys. We won't see you next week because next Thursday's Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Miss Johanna, and Jack, and to all of you who are watching. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, and we'll be diving into the book of Proverbs, specifically looking at Proverbs 31. So if you haven't yet read that, just between now and 2 weeks from now, give that a read. I would even read it once, read it twice, read it 3 times. It's a beautiful chapter. And we love you guys, and we will catch you in 2 weeks.
Bye. Bye.
All right.
God bless. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.